Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another episode of Healing Conversations with me, your host, Kirita Finch. To all the returning fibroid girlies, welcome, come on in. And if you are new here, thanks for joining and thanks for taking time to really take stock of your health. Each week, I upload everything that I learned post myomectomy to manage my risk of fibroids, because I experienced fibroids and its distressing symptoms once, and I made a pledge to myself that I am not going back down that road again. Even if there are multiple surgeries available, I made a personal commitment to take an alternative route to manage my fibroids. Now, before we get into the topic, I just want to share my personal story and journey with fibroids. Now, I'm rolling the curtains back to the period before 2023 when I did my myomectomy. I was looking sexy, I was looking plumped, and I really loved my body. But guess what? I was carrying around multiple fibroids that had my stomach protruding as if I was 2 months pregnant. Fibroids can change the shape and the outlook of your stomach. So if you are not pregnant and you recognize that there's a significant growth in the size of your stomach, that might be an early warning sign, a fire sign that you're just carrying some extra load on board. Now, have you ever paused long enough to find out what it feels like when your fibroids started to grow? If you're anything like me, you may have missed the early warning signs only to find out when things got way out of control. Now, here's the truth. The fibroids sign can be very subtle, and if you don't know what you're looking for, or you do not really understand your body, fibroids can end up living rent-free in your body, with symptoms stealing so much of your energy, your confidence, and even your fertility. Even for symptomatic fibroid girlies, the signs are not always obvious until full-blown. From long and distressing periods that turn into a nightmare to constant pressure and pelvic pain that wreck your work, your confidence, and even your finances. In today's episode, we'll focus on 6 signs that could make you realize that there's something seriously wrong, and that could be the cornerstone. And that was the cornerstone of my hot girl healing journey to remove fibroids and live fibroids free. Now, I'll share with you the 6 symptoms that I personally experienced on my fibroids journey that really left me feeling exhausted. First up on the list was insane inflammation. Every menstrual cycle without fail, my body produced tons of inflammation. I'm not even lying to you. This crazy inflammation that some of us fibroid girlies experience is an early warning sign that there is estrogen imbalance in your hormone environment. Inflammation sometimes show up in so many different ways, but those are the early telltale signs. For me, I experienced painful breasts as a result of inflammation, and I also experienced pimples popping up here and there that were extremely painful but filled with pockets of inflammation. That was a sign that inflammation was taking over my body. And it's also a sign mirroring that my hormones were severely out of control. But that was not the most burdensome symptom I experienced linked to hormonal dysfunction. I literally had the worst, I kid you not, the worst periods ever. My period health being out of control was one of the most obvious signs that my fibroids were growing with a vengeance. I am speaking about life interrupting, gushing periods that made me stay in when I really wanted to go out with my friends or even show up at work. Periods that literally left me exhausted even after the most restful sleep. I know that there are some ladies who do not experience period-related symptoms, but the rest of us? Periods, raging periods, are a sure sign that your hormones are out of balance and there's serious inflammation on board. With all the pain, I never became anemic or needed a blood transfusion due to the blood loss, but I experienced throbbing, twisting pain that almost always left me bedridden for a maximum of 2 days. My periods was so intense that for the first 2 days, work was a definite no-no. Those of you with fibroids, if that is not your experience, consider yourself beyond fortunate. The other symptom that I experienced was brain fog. At that time, I couldn't make the connection between fibroids and brain fog, but each month without fail, I experienced so much mental dysfunction that almost caused me to feel like there was something that was not right upstairs. I literally struggled to remember the most basic item. I could remember I was going into TDC and I literally stood up by the exit door to enter. That was how bad my symptoms was when it comes to brain fog. I am not even lying to you. It was really intense. All of this was happening while being employed in someone else's establishment. So, and you could picture, I used to just show up at work physically, but mentally I was elsewhere. And that led to a significant loss of productive time. I remember days I would go home after work and literally cried, feeling exhausted, not because of a hard day's work, but because it was like my brain and my body was beginning to betray me at the same time. I really do not think fibroids is well understood. Although it gets some media attention, it is not very well understood beyond the pain that fibroid girlies experience. But if you have any experience that is similar to what I mentioned, I literally carry you in my prayers. And I wish that one day the legislations would include some component that allow persons who are dealing with fibroids to have at least some days off to mentally reset or even to work from home, because fibroid symptoms can be so distressing and so exhausting, and it literally affects your mental capacity. It is almost like you're experiencing cognitive decline. It is, I'm not even lying to you, it is that serious. The other symptom that I experienced was zero energy and constant exhaustion. I kid you not. Guys, I have been a lifelong exercise girly. I engage in consistent exercise because, as you know, exercise is known to give you an energy boost. But for me, instead of having an energy boost, I always felt like I was running an E. To listen to the rhythm of your body. Do not allow the signs to be ignored until they get extremely loud. I wish I had someone to inform me to. The other symptom that I experienced was mood swings. Girl, my mood was always out of control. I literally felt that I was problematic. I was always super sensitive, super defensive, and always on alert, ready for an attack. I am not even lying to you. And sometimes when my mood felt too much, I would literally break into crying spells to shake off the heavy emotion. Now this is a subtle symptom that you are being hormonally led. Your hormones are way out of balance. And I think I have not been diagnosed, but I think I went through multiple depressive episodes when my periods were growing. I am not even lying to you. Now, if you are experiencing any of the symptoms that I mentioned, it is an alert. It's your body's warning signal alerting you that your fibroids are growing. They are moving from the seedling stage and they are becoming adults. So I encourage you, let me know that these were the early warning signs that fibroids were taking control of my body, literally draining my energy and doing a number on my health. If you found this video useful and it allows you to be more aware of your fibroid symptom, why not share your fibroid story, your fibroid experience, so that we can heal on this journey together, because dealing with fibroids on your own is very heavy, and it takes a community that is judgment free to manage the effects of fibroids collectively.